Toy Spot. We are having a look at the DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series, figure number 14, the Riddler. I wanted to get to this figure earlier and I just never got a chance to. It was sitting in my stack of stuff to cover, and other things just took my attention away. But we're finally going to be having a look at the Riddler here, the Master of Riddles. Riddler comes with 16 pieces. Now, a lot of those pieces could be hands, of course the display stand, the pole that attaches to the stand, but you're looking at a whopping 16 pieces in total. Spin around the back of the package, you're not going to get a read up, unfortunately, other than just the image silhouette there of the Dark Knight. Down below, you can go to www.dccomics.com. Equally so, you can also go to comicsshoplocator.com and find a comic book store in your area. Spot's going to take himself a break, he is. And when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Batman the Animated Series, the Riddler. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Like with other of the Batman Animated Series figures and New Adventures of Batman figures from the folks over at DC Collectibles, the Riddler comes with his own display stand featuring a front, side, and 3/4 back turn of the character. Still wish though that this wasn't as long as it is. Having seen some of the releases where it was just this part, this I just still find is excessive. But it does allow the figure's stand to move a little bit forward back, or a little bit further forward, and certainly back as well. These also adjust to hold the waist of the figure. Not bad, as you could probably see, probably needed it right there, but I just wish that this doesn't need to be as long as it does. At any rate, we'll put that right there. Riddler comes with other accessories too, and you know what? I jokingly pick apart the display stand. Let's use it in the time being until we kind of look at all the other accessories, and then we'll go back to the figure. Riddler comes with Wacko toys, which isn't bad. I mean, I like that they include stuff like this, but personally speaking, I would have been more happier if he just came with a series of like other things. Sometimes like Joker, for example, came with episode specific things, but it's not, unless you're not displaying him necessarily with those episode items, it just doesn't make any sense. Joker should have come with like a laughing fish. Riddler, I appreciate that they give you this, but I wish that they had given you something more Riddler-esque. Nothing specifically for one particular episode, but just trinkets, weapons, and other things that you picture more so with Riddler. I don't picture this with Riddler. I picture this with an episode with Riddler, but I don't picture this as something I would always display with Riddler. Not to mention as well, there's no real place that you can keep it. You can just kind of keep it to the side of the figure, but something where he could have held it or other things of that nature would have made more sense to me. We'll put that right there. He does come with one thing that at least is more specific to the character, and that is a cane. No, not a question mark cane. Just a standard traditional cane. They went obviously the more route of the classic animated series Riddler and not the New Adventures Riddler that kind of adopts the Jim Carrey design of the lanky jumpsuit. Or really, I guess, like the old classic Batman design as well, of Frank Gorshin's Riddler. But a trusty, tried and true cane comes included with Riddler. He unfortunately cannot hold it at the present time because he does require a couple of additional hands. The figure currently is sporting closed fists, but at least they give you a series of extra hands as well. They give you a total of 4 extra hands, and the majority of all the hands included are for holding things. Now, the hands themselves, while all of them, of course, would accommodate cane holding, they seem like they should adopt other things as well. If anything, they would be meant for something else. Like that hand right there, other than a tilt of the cane, it feels like this hand should have been used for something else. However, to change out the hands, just want to wiggle the hand out, pop it out of the socket. Nice broad pegs, which I like. Less likely to, you know what I mean. And we'll go ahead and slide the cane into his hand. And you can, well, I don't know how you would necessarily display it. You can kind of bend the elbow, I guess, could kind of display him like that. That looks cool. That's probably how I would display him with the cane behind. Alright, so let's have a look at the figure itself. Now, as I was mentioning, they went the route of classic animated series Riddler as opposed to New Adventures Riddler. I'm sure at some point they're going to give us New Adventures Riddler, but that's honestly a design. I think I like this one a little bit more. This was always more my preferred look for Riddler. Now, of course, it depends on the medium. The classic Batman series with Adam West, I liked Frank Gorshin's spandex, question marks everywhere Riddler. I think for the animated series, though, just due to the period style that they were going for with the Batman series, more mobsterish, you know, like more like the old vintage designs, I like this Riddler better. Not to mention, though, the other design of Riddler was just a little too zany. He's not one of my favorite looks from the new Batman Adventures, Joker probably being one of the worst. But this Riddler fits the bill perfectly. His pants are almost a greenish gray color, very small green feet, green shoes. That's a common trend for a lot of these figures. Unfortunately, it does mean, yes, he doesn't stand the greatest. He stands, and then he'll just topple over. Of course, flatter surfaces hold a little bit better. Mileage may vary. Flatter surfaces, he'll stand a little bit better. Let's have a look at his face. His face is good. The cocky expression is well received from me here. They could have also just given him the more neutral face that you see right here, but I think by incorporating just that little extra bit there, it gives him that confidence, that cockiness, that Riddler knows he's just simply smarter than most people around him. Perhaps also the Cape Crusader. He's also sporting a Boulder cap or a Boulder hat there. Also a green matching jacket. Purple gloves matching the purple mask. The purple also a question mark on his tie. It's an interesting design form, especially incorporating a black shirt, which seems like it's not questionable, but the design initially thinking, you know, green jacket on black shirt. But it actually does come together quite nicely. Incorporating also the gray brings like all the coloring together for this guy. And they went as far as even to show just a slight bit of the sleeve cuff sticking out from the jacket. Also a nice touch. The jacket, I suppose, does give him a little extra bulk, making him look a little fuller than I feel like he should have been. But it's something I can overlook because the rest of the figure is just so great. When it comes to Riddler's posability, it's what you would expect. A nice ball joint in the head. You can even really get some good gestures going with him holding his cane. Kind of just an arrogant kind of stance to him. Shoulders hinge out. No issues there. A rotation, but it's you can see kind of when you start rotating the arm, you see a big gap because they've incorporated this jacket over top. So rotating it, it seems to like leave too much of a gap, but I have to understand that obviously when you have the arms further down, it finishes everything off a little bit better. Elbows do bend. Again, a little on the stiffer side. Full rotation on the forearm. A rotation on the hands, as the pegs we've already had a look at. Despite even the fact that he's got the jacket, Riddler does have a good waist swivel still incorporated there. Legs split out. Forward and back motion. A bend at the knee. Finishing off quite nicely too. They going the route of this inverted V cut of the leg still gives him the hinge, but it also finishes off everything, I think, relatively nice. And then also, despite the fact he's got very small feet, he does also have a rotation in the shoes. I wish I had gotten to this figure a little bit faster. Unfortunately, again, he just sat on a pile of stuff that I wanted to get to, and then other stuff just kind of got this guy sidetracked. But I'm glad I finally got a chance to get this opened up and have him reviewed, as he is one of the better figures from the classic Batman animated series. He's not one of my favorite figures, though that title I could probably give to like the Poison Ivy, or even like Bane, Scarecrow. But of the classic, the original animated series designs, this probably is one of my favorites. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series. This was the Riddler. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more toy spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.